Hey folks, welcome back to Skyward Sword. We are here in the Sealed Temple, and big plot things just happened. Girahim kidnapped Zelda and we need to save her. But before we do that, we have the final item collection video in front of us. As you can see, it's the longest yet, and I assure you it will be mind-blowing. And as usual, I implore you to tell me how long you last. Anyway, our first thing is actually right here, this goddess wall, right by the Goron. I think it's a little unfair to have a hidden prize here, because you need to activate the goddess wall, have him talk to you automatically, and then talk to him again in order to get the prompt for the wonderful prize. And not many people would, like, do that. I don't know what would prompt you to do that. Anyway, he will give you something to draw, and you will draw it, and then once you've drawn it, you will get a wonderful prize both from the wall and from the Goron himself. He asked for an arrow here, so... ta-da! I know, it's amazing. And for drawing what he wanted, he will give you a heart piece. Very useful thing to have.
Hey.
Anyway, you can come back whenever you like once the goddess wall has regenerated its power, and draw more things for him, and he will give you, I think, 100 rupees for each thing you draw, which is definitely nice. But anyway, let's head back to the sky and get ready to do some side questing. We got 4 side quests to do in this episode, as well as a bunch of goddess cubes and heart pieces and all sorts of wonderful things. And I'll be more or less dividing things by province. Go to Faron first, then Eldin, then Lanayru, and then collect everything that's left in the sky. So our first thing here, Instructor Owlin has a side quest for us to do down in Faron. Once we get through this dialogue about the whatever happened, I don't even know. I wasn't paying attention. Anyway, Owlin likes plants. He gets a lot of plants. He has a bunch in his room. He is a botanist of sorts. And now he wants more. His insatiable desire for more knowledge will be the end of him in some future time, but for now we want to get him a new plant species down from the surface. And of course there's only one specific plant that will actually satisfy the requirements. He has no basis for what that proper plant will be, but Feed, for whatever reason, does. Anyway, this is a thing to note. You can only do one side quest at a time that requires dowsing for a thing. Especially the 3 of the 4 side quests that I'm doing in this episode. Because the dowsing will overwrite whatever you had registered before. And then it'll also require Scrapper to carry various things, and he can only carry one thing at once. So, unfortunately, you have to do them one at a time. But anyway, let's head out of here and get down to the Faron province. Plenty of things to do down there. Alright, first things first, I'm almost a bit ashamed that I neglected this wonderful prize before. It's a bomb on the wall, you remember this. I very easily could have gotten this on our second visit to Faron, but it just slipped my mind. Anyway, bomb the wall, and there's a heart piece right behind there. Very simple, very easy, very convenient. And that completes our second to last art container. Only 4 more pieces to go. Anywho, our next stop will be somewhere near the pool of water by the tree. I forget the exact order that I do things in. I also, like, forget the layout of Faron Woods. So I'm terrible at navigation, as usual. Oh no. Recover, Link, recover. Okay, there we go. Anyway, let's list the things. Oh, good damn. Let's list the things that we need to get down here. There are the two goddess cubes that we saw when Thornwoods was flooded. You remember they were both kind of raised up. There is the plant that Instructor Owlin wants. And then there are actually two more goddess cubes. There's one right outside the Skyview Temple, and there's one inside the Skyview Temple that I have mentioned many times before, and people in the comments have mentioned many times before, and we will be finally getting it. I know, it's been a long, long time coming. Anyway, I haven't shown where the dowsing will lead, but just take my word for it, this is where it'll lead. Also get another fairy. Very nice to have 5 fairies. That's an extra 30 hearts, so... Anyway, this is not the easiest way to get over to the place where we're aiming for, but you'll remember it, as in, this is the path we took when we first sought out the various Kikwis. You remember way back when you first visited here, like episode 5 or something. When we were looking for Kikwis, we went over through this route, and, speaking of Kikwis, that is our prize. Why are we considering a Kikwi a plant? I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, I don't see shoulders. Do you see shoulders? So this guy is apparently paranoid. It's unfortunate. And so we can take him back up to the sky for Mr. Owlin to take a look at. I love this. Fee is actually not sure about what this thing is. One of the few times where it's actually used to comic effect. Anyway, we can use Scrapper to bring this Kikwi back up to the sky to fulfill a side quest. Very convenient. It does have to be this specific Kikwi, because apparently Fee can sense, like, the internal conflict of a Kikwi's mind and find which ones will actually want to leave. Or maybe this one is especially plant-like, but I don't know. We were supposed to be looking for a plant. I'm not sure why the dowsing picked something up that was only 40% possible to be a plant. You're losing your edge, Fee. But anyway, so mechanics-wise, it's you drop down to Pharaoh and then you douse for something, and it's that simple, so. That's kind of what a lot of the upcoming side quests come down to. Just drop down and douse. Anyway, you've probably seen this guy around several times. May have pointed him out when we first visited. But, take care of him there. Now, I will be saving collecting all the chests for the very end of the video, once we've taken care of everything else, just because I want to do them all in one swoop. Anyway, now let's move on to the the other goddess cube that I mentioned before. Yeah, I remember I pointed it out during the flooding incident. I think I ran my head into it a little bit. But in order to get up there, as far as I'm aware, we have to go through the tree in order to get up above it and then be able to drop down to it. Anyway, this place has changed a little bit, as you can see. There are no more swinging platforms to use with Gust Bellows. Not sure entirely why that changed, other than, like, maybe they didn't withstand the flooding. But it was worth noting, I guess. Maybe. Anyway, skipping ahead a little bit, we are now up here to the top little edge of the tree. I don't want to get rid of that beacon. I should get rid of that beacon. And once you get up to this little curve around here with the keys, that is your cue to be able to drop down and get that cube. But I really want to get rid of that keys first. There we go. There we go. Now again, I'm not sure if this is the intended way, but I get on this inner curve here, and I sidle over and drop down onto that platform over there. And it looks like you might not make it, but you'll make it. And then, rather than tightrope across, I just use the Skyward Strike because I'm a boss like that. So I think that's how you're supposed to do it. I didn't see any like claw shot targets around anyway. So, whatevs. Anyway, we still have 2 more cubes to get, and they're both by the Skyview Temple, or therein, or something along those lines. Get rid of that beacon. Get rid of that beacon. Yeah. Anyway, let's go. Oh, jeez. I will never, ever get the best of those guys. Anyway, once you return to Skyview Temple with the claw shots, you can claw shot onto these vines. And kind of go up towards the roof, although not totally the roof. Those are just a little bit too high for you to dash up with a sprint, so alas. Yeah, that's definitely one you can overlook, because you wouldn't have much of a reason to go back to Skyview, especially since your revisit here is before you get the claw shots. And you wouldn't necessarily look to the side, so, yeah. And then, finally, the moment of truth. You remember here in the Skyview Spring, there's water, and fairies, and other wonderful things. And then, hidden behind this altar, in the place that you would never ever frickin' look, is a goddess cube. There. I got it. Are you happy now? I missed it the first time, and I had already recorded the second visit by the time people told me that it was a thing, so I missed it the second time, and now I finally got it, and you can all sleep at night. I know you've been just tossing and turning because I didn't get that stupid goddess cube. Doesn't even have a good prize. I don't know what it is, but it's not good. I mean, you can get it so early, it can't be something really useful. Anyway, that takes care of our Pharaoh roundup, and we can return to Eldin to deliver the Kiwi. I still love Kiwi. Have I mentioned I love Kiwi? Because I love Kiwi. I don't remember a single one's name, but they're all Kiwi. You know, like, Deku Babas and other various monsters may also call into question the difference between flora and fauna. But okay, alright. Anyway, for delivering that Kiwi, we get 5 whole gratitude crystals. Goodness golly gracious. But we're getting close to the home stretch. We almost have all the gratitude crystals in the game. There are a total of 80. So we only have 3 more side quests to do. Anyway, I believe we are now moving on to the Eldin section of the collection video. And actually, the only things I need to do in Eldin are actually side quests for gratitude crystals. Because I have already managed to collect all of the heart pieces and all the goddess cubes and whatnot from Eldin, unless I missed some, but I checked with an FAQ. Anyway, the fortune teller is gone. You may have noticed when I passed through here before that he has mysteriously vanished. And if you ever want to have your fortune told again, you will have to find him, and if you don't care, then you still may want to, so you get gratitude crystals, I don't know. Again, it's a fairly simple side quest, so perhaps the most difficult part of it is figuring out where the hell Fortune Teller lives. He does live in the residential district, over on the east side of Skyloft, I guess. But goodness, there are a lot of houses. Now we sneak under this underpass, overpass, whatever, and into the house that has a crystal ball up top. And you will find... Oh, Fortune Teller. Speak to me of your misfortune. So yeah, the crystal ball has been destroyed, and this side quest entails finding a new crystal ball for him to use in his divinations. Now, if you had a very, very, very keen eye, you would be able to determine exactly where this crystal ball is before you even encountered this side quest. But that hint there tells you all you need to know. It's a temple at the top of a mountain. There are only two possible places it could be. I mean, you got precisely one mountain in the game, that's Eldin Volcano, and precisely two temples on that mountain, that's Earth Temple and the Fire Sanctuary. But of course, if you need more help, you can always Dow Sword. Right, let's get out of here. Anyway, you will find a crystal ball on the top of the Earth Temple. And like I said, if you were very, very observant at the beginning of the game, you would notice, hey, there's a ball over there. But if you look at the other side, there's in fact not. I didn't quite properly demonstrate that in the footage. I think I might show it a little bit later. But you would notice some asymmetry, and you'd be like, hey, what's the deal with that? Anyway, just grab the crystal ball, and it's that easy. Very simple. And believe me, this fee telling you exactly what you're gonna do shtick gets a little bit old. And the scrapper flying in and being like, hey, yeah, I'll do it, and then scrapper flying out and all that, it kind of makes the whole pacing of the side quest a little too slow for my tastes. I mean, maybe throughout the course of the game you'd be running around and you would do the side quest at your own pace, and you wouldn't really care about the slow pace, because you're just doing whatever the hell you feel like, rather than trying to make a shorter and more interesting video. But there is kind of a lot of excess dialogue in this game. Anyway, yeah, I guess I don't show off where that other thing is. But, oh well. Oh, look, there. No, it wasn't there. See, there was no crystal ball there. Anyway, let's bring it back to the fortune teller. Hey, don't break it, Scrapper. I do love the fortune teller's face here. Full of joy. Yes, I can see that your eyes are wide. Anyway, if you're doing the side quest, you will get a discount on all future fortune tellings. And also just the ability to have your fortune told again. But considering I never felt the need to do that ever, and, like, the internet exists for your research purposes, not incredibly useful. But still worth doing if you want to feel like a good person. Anyway, our second side quest in Eldin involves this lady.
Hi.
You remember this lady with her pumpkins and her singing voice and all that? She needs somebody to plow the fields. And we can find a person to plow said fields down in Eldin. Now I should note that you can do these 2 Eldin side quests like significantly earlier. But if you activate the Song of the Hero quest, you won't be able to do them for a little bit of time because Eldin erupts, and that would make it hard to complete the side quests. So you can either do them earlier or wait till now. Anyway, look at that incredibly specific dowsing target. How the heck Fee can find the individual aura of a person who can plow a pumpkin patch, I have no idea. I mean, hell, we have magma mitts, we could do it. Whatever. Fly over to Eldin, and can descend down into this cavern. You remember this cavern cylinder kind of thing that pokes out? And we'll find, hello, Old Man Magma. So Old Man Magma has grown sick and tired of his meaningless existence down here. I think he's going through a midlife crisis or something. But we can bring him up to the sky and find himself a new line of work. Now, hypothetically, any magma could do this job, but again, this specific magma is the only one who will satisfy the quest. Kind of the same issue as the Kikwi thing. But I imagine it would be rather tricky to do scripting and dialogue for every individual Kikwi and magma. So, yeah. Right, just get it over with, Scrapper. Right, go. I imagine that must be incredibly terrifying for a magma. And for the Kikwi, for that matter, but especially a magma who spends all his time in the dirt. Like, flying up into the sky would be potentially horrifying. Anyway, let's ascend out of here. And back here. Oh, and by the way, everybody wave a long farewell to Scrapper, because this is the last time we'll ever see him. Bye, Scrapper. Anyway, side quest fulfilled, we deliver the magma, and he will eventually agree to it. Well, you wanted a new line of work. You wanted a new place. Beggars can't be choosers. Now, I'm sure you could find some sort of moral lesson here about using your skills to help people rather than benefit yourself. But I think it's just like, hey, magmas can dig, that's fun. And that is 3 of our 4 side quests done. 5 more gratitude crystals. And we are almost there! Oh my golly goodness. But we still have Lanayru to deal with. Lanayru will be a schlep, so... 75! Alright, let's head to Lanayru. Now here we have a little chain of events, chain of things that we can do. It's a passageway that we could have opened up the first time we visited, but could not have followed to its completion. until we got the claw shots, so partway through our second visit. So may as well just save it for now unless you're really desperate for the prize. Anyway, look over here, there is a cracked wall. Pretty easy to overlook, but you'll remember off to my left now there are various things to be collected, and you would see, oh, there's probably a path to be followed. I should look for a way to get over there. And then you would probably eventually stumble on this. Electric Souls. So first things first, we have a chest here. You could get this on your first visit to Lanayru. And it is in fact a heart piece, which is nice, very nice. But then we also have a chain of clawshot targets. And that will lead us to eventually a goddess cube, as you will see. Link, you're aiming awful. There we go, pretty simple. This is one of those things that kind of sits there and taunts you for quite a while. And you're like, oh my god, how do I get it? And now we got it. And now all we gotta do is take care of a few mini-games down here in Lanayru. For whatever reason, they're both down here. I'm not entirely sure why. But we have one off in the Sand Sea somewhere, and then one at Lanayru Gorge. You remember I alluded to that a bit earlier. But we are going to the Sand Sea first, so let's take to the sky and then descend, and that'll be fun and nice and quick. Aren't you so glad you don't have to see all the transit in between all this stuff? Because it took a long time. Anyway, we are down here at the Shipyard. You remember this is where we found the roller coaster minecart business. Also two Lizafos that we do not give any shits about. Don't even care. Anyway, if we trek over here, you remember there was a Goron that would tell us about the minecarts. And after a certain point, he will start up a minecart minigame, probably after the sand ship, I'm not entirely sure. But basically, you have to go along a set minecart course in under a certain time in order to get certain prizes. And you remember how to control the minecart, most likely. Shift your Wiimote from left to right, rotating. And each ride is 20 rupees, regardless of which course you take. There are two courses, Scary and Heart-Stopping. Scary will get you rupees, Heart-Stopping will get either you treasures, or, if you're good enough, a heart piece. And that's, of course, what I'm aiming for. Now, I don't really have great advice for this minigame, other than try to maintain your balance as much as possible, because if you land off a jump or something, off balance, you will lose a lot of speed, and if you, like, start to fall off the rails, you will also lose a lot of speed. So, I mean, clearly get speed off the turns, but other than that, make sure you're balanced. I don't have better advice than that. You get very familiar with the course and kind of preempt the turns, I guess. Make sure you get the most out of each of them. And also, I think the right path here is a little faster. I'm not sure, but in my various attempts, I found that I got more speed on this upcoming straightaway when I took the right path rather than the left. There's usually just a difference of a second, but the time constraint for getting the heart piece is actually pretty tight. You gotta get under 65 seconds. It's 1 minute and 5 seconds for the mathematically challenged. Whoa! I'm amazed I got away with that. But as you can see, I got very close. It was rather finicky, but managed to make it. That took many, many attempts. It's a lot harder than it looks. It's one of those things that you kind of have to redo, fine-tune, and get some muscle memory in your wrist for, and then eventually the planets will align and it'll work out. And for that, you get a piece of heart. Only 2 more to go, so close. Man, looking back on this video, it's a little sad how little time that took, considering how long it took in the recording. Took a lot of time. Look at my rupees. I lost like 2,000 rupees from that. That's like, geez, 10 attempts. It's a lot of attempts. Anyway, let's head to the sky, and then back down to Lanayru Gorge. Remember, that's where we found the Lanayru dragon. There we go. Now, you remember when we left him, he was like, hey, come back a little later and I will have wonderful activities for you to do. And now he has them. I sure did. Basically, Lanayru Dragon is an opportunity to replay various challenges that you did. You can either redo Silent Realms, or you can engage in a boss rush, which he's probably going to explain in a few seconds. Yep, battling and Silent Realms. Now, I have no idea what sort of prizes you'll get from the Silent Realm. It's nothing long-lasting and worthwhile. Battle, you will get a lot of rupees, a heart piece, and the best shield in the game. So, all of those are worth it. Except the rupees. Rupees are just for bragging rights. The absurdly sturdy shield is definitely the most important thing. Anyway, as I said, it's a boss rush, which means all the bosses in the game can appear here. And important differentiation here, in Hero mode, the mode I'm playing on, Hard mode, you can and will fight the bosses from the end game, as in bosses we haven't fought yet in the playthrough, you'll see in the next few episodes. In normal mode, those guys won't be there. Anyway, stipulation here. You can only use items that you had at the time of the boss fight, and you don't get any pouch items, which means no healing items in bottles, no heart medals to give you extra heart containers, but you do get the shield that you have. Anyway, you choose the first boss fight that you do, but from then on, he will choose all the boss fights in a random order. Although he's not very imaginative, so you'll often find yourself fighting the same enemies, or same bosses in the same order, really often. Like in my various attempts on this, I swear I fought Scaldera every single time. Anytime you get a new record on a boss, you will get 50 extra rupees, which is definitely nice. And then, at 4 straight victories, you will get a piece of heart. And unfortunately, the prizes are not cumulative, so you do have to back out. It's unfortunate. So you gotta get 4 wins, back out, and then 8 straight wins to get the best shield, and then back out there. Did I mention that hearts carry over from fight to fight? Because that's a thing. Any hearts you lose carry on to all the bosses. So, the ultimate challenge, of course, is to defeat all the bosses in one run. And, I was gonna do that for a bonus video, but I've discovered that I simply am not capable of doing that. I'm just not good enough. Also, it brings to attention, this entire boss rush, brings to attention how many times you fight the Imprisoned and how many times you fight Girahim. Because nearly just about half the battles in the game, in the boss rush, are those battles, and it gets old quick. Anyway, at 8 wins, you get the absurdly sturdy shield, which I have trouble pronouncing. But luckily, it has a better name, as you will see in just a sec. It is in fact the Hylian shield, the wonderful shield that we've all known and loved from Ocarina of Time onwards. It's very snazzy, and best of all, it will never ever break. It has unlimited durability. It doesn't even need to recharge. So, if you ever feel the need to just block everything, which is actually a valid strategy, it is definitely a good thing to get. I think it does conduct electricity like the Goddess Shield, though, and the Metal Shield. So that's one drawback, but seriously, never use the wooden shield ever. Just don't do it. It's not worth it. Anyway, fly out of there. So what do we have left? We have a lot of goddess chests. We have one side quest, and one heart piece. Oh, by the way, this is the beginning of the final side quest. Once you engage in enough activities with the item check girl, she starts to develop feelings for you. It's a little weird. I think people on TV tropes would call this, like, tsundere or something. But yeah, this whole thing makes me feel awkward, because as petty as it is, I feel the need to have a strong relationship between Link and Zelda, and Link should be faithful. I know it's stupid, but whatever. Anyway, let's grab that shield. Anyway, once you've reached this point in the relationship, you can actually activate the remainder of the side quest there and eventually get your last 5 gratitude crystals. To do that, head on over to Bamboo Island and talk with the item check girl's dad. I think it's his dad, her dad, right? Dad or brother? Yep, daughter, okay. Anyway, he's not so keen on her having a secret admirer. He thinks it's a secret admirer, it's kind of the other way around, but basically he wants the relationship to end. And obviously the item check girl wants the relationship to continue because she's the one in love. And that means, of course, that there is a moral decision to be made upcoming. This is so silly. This is soap opera business here. Misunderstandings about love. No bamboo for me. No thank you. You want to see my sharp object? I have sharp objects. Anyway, once you've talked to that guy, we can now go back to the item check girl and continue the side quest of it. There's a lot of back and forth talking to people in this one. Oh my. That can mean only one thing. Oh god, she's bored, she wants us to visit at night, this can only end in tragedy. Tragedy for whom is a valid question. Anyway, as I said, moral choice here. We can either choose to accept or reject the relationship. And you will get the gratitude crystals from a different character depending on which choice you make. Option number 1 will be the acceptance route. And it's, I don't know, for whatever reason, maybe it's just my flimsy moral backbone or something, but I find this a very hard side quest to do, even though it's just picking things off menus. Because here I feel bad about betraying Zelda, and the other option I'll feel bad about breaking someone's heart, and it's just, ugh. Right, important plot point here. We cannot give ourselves into love until our big duty and obligation to the world is complete. And this is actually the reason why the split timeline on the Item Check Girl side quest does not overall affect the split timeline of the Zelda series as a whole. Because the way the ending works out, the resolution of Link and Item Check Girl's overall social statuses are so remarkably similar that, for our intents and purposes, the timelines are essentially the same, regardless of whether or not he gets with Item Check Girl or not. So, really, the only thing that decides the timeline is, in fact, the call-in love letter toilet business. Just to clear up any possible confusion. Anyway, if we accept her, we get the gratitude crystals from her. And now, let's reload our save file and reject her. Ugh. I really feel bad about doing this. I really do, but I feel bad either way. It's horrible. Anyway, in this version, Link is a total dick. He's either a dick or really that oblivious, and I'm not entirely sure which. Except we already initiated the side quest with Link saying, "Yep, it's definitely love." So I think he's not oblivious, he's just an idiot. And rude. Anyway, if you follow this rather depressing line, she will get over you, maybe. I doubt she'll ever be completely over it. But she will go back to being rude to you when you go back to the item check. She's a drama queen, but goddamn, it's depressing. Anyway, this guy will actually have the same dialogue regardless of which you choose. But he is in fact the one you'll get gratitude crystals from doing the side quest. And I wasn't entirely sure how it worked out because I had only read on a walkthrough. But you actually need to talk to him back at the bamboo minigame island parlor place in order to get the gratitude crystals. It's a little out of the way and a little annoying, but oh well. So yeah, I do feel just a little bit better having Link stay faithful to Zelda, but still leaves a bad taste in my mouth. But that is the last 5 gratitude crystals in the game, and that means we have all 80, and that means we can get all the wonderful prizes from Batro. And also Batro can turn back into a human and fulfill all his dreams and wishes, but never mind that, prizes. Alright, Batro time. Give me the scoop, dog. So we'll get a prize, I think, for 70, and then for 80. He's a little weird about how often he gives you prizes, but at 70 rupees, I believe he will give you not just 1 gold rupee, but 2 gold rupees. That's a total of 600 rupees. Although, considering Beetle's prices, it's a little... it helps, but it's not quite enough. And then, for 80 rupees, you will celebrate, because that's all the rupees in the game, or all the gratitude crystals in the game, rather. And he will give you a Tycoon Wallet, which lets you hold exactly 9,000 rupees, but... since we bought those extra wallets from Beetle, that means we can actually store 9,900 rupees. Alright, bud. Transform! Oh my. Are your eyes just permanently closed? Is that what's going on? I'm confused. Well, he's... There's no word in my language to describe how you look I guess. Let's get out of here. Yeah, we're done. Bye, Metro. Okay, we're good. Alright. So, anyway, that actually takes care of all the side quests. Whoopsie. That takes care of side quests, and now all that's left is to grab all the goddess chests around the world. There are none left in Skyloft, but there are plenty in the sky itself. And of course, they're marked on your map, so I'm not like showing you where they are on the map, because you can just look on the map. Anyway, say hello to the one useful one, a piece of heart. This completes our final heart container and gives us a total of however many rupees. What? I'm not counting that many hearts. I don't remember. It gives us all our hearts. It gives us full lines. So many lines. Anyway, the rest are just a various assortment of rupees and medals that I don't care about. This one's kinda neat and interesting. You can plunge underwater in order to grab it. Also, that definitely did not hurt at all right there. Belly flopping from several stories in the sky. It's not really a dangerous pastime. There's a heart medal. That's the other one that will cause various hearts to appear in hero mode. Fun to note that in hero mode, this is backtracking back to the boss rush. In normal mode, there will be hearts in certain arenas, like there were in the original bosses. But in hero mode, there will not be, since naturally they don't spawn. And since you can't use medals, even if you have a heart medal in your inventory, it won't actually cause hearts to spawn. So you're out of luck there. Anyway, this is Beetle's Island, and you're supposed to wait until, you know, sleep on Beetle's house and wait till night and climb over here that way. But with some crafty skydiving, you can slip in and grab this rupee medal. Beetle would have one of these, wouldn't he? Anyway, they're, I guess, nice, but they're pretty good, reliable sources of rupees, so you don't really need a medal. Anyway, you remember this island, there was a maze. And one branch led to one goddess chest, and one branch led to the other. And, of course, because I have a horrible memory, I can never remember which one I'm supposed to go to. Really hope this is the right one. There we go, you're taken care of. And come on, be the right one, be the right one, be the right one. Yeah! And an extra small quiver, 5 whole extra arrows. Oh my golly goodness, everybody. Wasn't that so worth it? Anyway, and on to the final island with the final chest that we're going to open. Isn't it wonderful? Go up here, there's actually a normal chest that you can get whenever you like. Yay, pure crystallized malice. This is the best Christmas ever. And then over on these vines... Whoop, hey, don't do that. Over up those vines, we can find a goddess chest. I swear it's there. Can't see it on camera, but it's there. There we go. And inside this chest is... the final item to be found in a goddess chest that would complete our item collection in the Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. And that is everything. That is all the side questing. We are done. Thank goodness. I will see you guys next time for the end game.